Salutations. Wanted to address something again. I don't know how many more videos I'll do regarding Sasquatch. If you're a member of my Patreon channel, there's probably about, my goodness, probably 10 videos on there concerning Sasquatch that does not have to do, are not on YouTube. So that's another one of those things. There's a lot of information there on YouTube and on Patreon about Sasquatch. But this one here is something that I want to address that is, I find it very interesting in terms that the Bigfoot Sasquatch community is very selective in what they choose to relay informational wise. And things that are somewhat of a metaphysical or paranormal nature concerning these beings is completely wiped over and selectively omitted from several encounters or deemed those encounters invalid. Well, I disagree with that. So this one we're going to go back and frame reference wise and historically wise to 1924 and the Ape Canyon situation concerning Fred Beck and those other gentlemen that were shot. They said they shot a Sasquatch, and then excuse me, and then their cabin started getting hit that night by rocks and stuff. All right, so I'll put some pictures of that up. And what's very interesting about that encounter is that when we look at that historically, all right, it's portrayed as though these are really just these ape men were hurling these rocks and these savage Neanderthals to a certain degree, all right. Fred Beck, one of the gentlemen that was one of the main people there, the hunters or whatever, he wrote a book called I Fought the Apes of Mount St. Helens. And it's a very short pamphlet. I remember seeing it years ago, but it still sticks with me, you know. And what he said in it is very much been omitted by the Bigfoot Sasquatch community. And what he said in that book is that it's very much looked at. First of all, there are a number of paranormal circumstances that surrounded that actual incident of them being up there. One is them finding, like, being led by a spirit that he explained as a great Native American wearing a garb, that warrior's outfit that was guiding them, a guiding spirit that guided them to a mine. Another that is a lady wearing white that I've heard so much associated with Sasquatch sightings and in other ways too, and I'll do another video about that. The lady in white, seen all across the world, so that's a different deal. But apparently she was interacting with people in this expedition before the Sasquatch encounters, and that's part of this altogether. So sometimes these paranormal events aren't the separate things that we think they are. Like concerning that witch, once again, would be the Spear Finger Witch and Bigfoot or Sasquatch encounter that I had only put on Patreon because due to the fact that somebody told me that as a paranormal investigator, as an investigated field research they'd done. Anyway, going back to Fred Beck. Okay, he had made comments that this was not just apes throwing rocks at the cabin, that not just, and even before there being paranormal events, but that the Sasquatch and the Bigfoot themselves were paranormal and metaphysical. Those are his exact words, that there was an element of that to them, and everybody on this expedition knew that. So it wasn't just them throwing rocks down on this cabin. And in his most profound statement, I feel, is that he said they were manifested beings, and compared that, saying that there are spirits within the mountains from the past and present and that are alive like earth spirits, and that take different manifestations when they get within the field of energy of people, the morphogenic field of energy of people. I'll throw in there, that's a Barry thing, but that field of energy is when they start manifesting. And he started that comparing to why sometimes that the energy can even be correct enough for them to start manifesting when people aren't present. That's where these tracks that just come out of nowhere and then disappear. And he compared that to a sandbar they were on, that they visited at a river in that area, and on this sandbar is just a single two tracks of Sasquatch prints, huge ones, with nothing else, not anything moving up there. He said the only way this could have happened is for a being to go into the sky and then come back down and materialize. All right, so there's no other way, or teleportation. the only way for those tracks to get out there. So that's one thing, him saying that they're manifested beings. And that's fascinating. And for that reason, he felt there'll never be one will ever be trapped and never be captured. And he said that that one that they shot on the cabin, on the canyon that fell down, and that they shot at some other ones too. And that there was never any evidence of them actually being hit. And that's fascinating to me. So as far as manifested beings, this, as my training would go, we could take this and correlate this to something like extra inorganic beings, and how inorganic beings can manifest around people through emotions also. How there was also a group of warriors here that once did that to control others, you know, fearsome men, fearsome people that were full of holographic projections and things of that nature. So anyway, this is just a facet that I wanted to address concerning manifested beings, and that possibly being one part of the Sasquatch phenomenon. I don't think it describes perhaps all the different species, but for a part of them, the metaphysical part, there's something like that going on. So just wanted to kind of nail that. Please subscribe. Thank everyone for Patreon for keeping me going forward. They're the ones that are keeping these videos. Thank you to people in YouTube and all those people that have been supportive. I'm trying to sort out my email. It got kind of hacked. There's a bunch of people that have sent me emails I didn't get back because it got filtered in the system, but I'm starting to pull them out. So I'm trying to get back with anybody that sent an email that didn't hear back from me. So thank you very much. Please subscribe and hit the like button. Peace.